if you could, tell the story about the barbecue that went fucking south. Maybe that's why you don't go to barbecue joints.
That's probably why.
That's probably it.
So the first, I'll never forget the first barbecue. They were blaring Tom Petty. See, I remember that one. Where you on that one, motherfucker?
Come on, Zach. You got the computer back there, prick.
Yeah, that's what I was hoping he came out with.
Yeah, just Google influential feminist singer, and I'm sure she'll pop up.
Rock singer, yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Have you not done that yet? I thought you were doing that, man.
I'm in here taking notes.
Listen,
He's on the ones and twos back there.
You came in and made a really good impression. I had high expectations, dude.
Well, that was your first mistake.
That was the haircut.
Yeah. So the first barbecue was like, I was like, oh, this is gonna be cool. You know, family. My uncle came over. He's drinking beers. Everyone, you know, John is making food, and it smells good in the house. And I was like,
we're a family.
We're family. This is some normal life shit.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they're drinking beer, and then they're drinking more beer, and then they're drinking more beer, and now they're starting to argue. And then the cue was my uncle would get up and leave. He would drink his beers, and then all of a sudden the time came and it's time for him to go. And that's when I knew. I was like, fuck. Because he's a witness, right? They're going to keep their shit together while there's a witness. Yeah. And then as soon as he leaves, then all of a sudden the fight gets bigger and bigger, and now they're screaming more, and now all of a sudden plates are flying and tables are getting flipped. You know, one time he tried to come after me and was trying to attack me, and my brother hit him with a phone book right in his face. And then he gets up, and my brother's just like, run. And he just starts beating my brother's ass. But these barbecues would have every Sunday. They would do the same fucking thing. Like, do you not remember the last barbecue? But they
We're still cleaning up.
Yeah. So I remember at the end of these barbecues, I would be sitting in my room, just like crying and rocking myself to sleep, just praying that the door didn't open in my room, because I didn't want that attention to turn towards me, you know. But you're just sitting there as a kid. It's just like this ball of stress and anxiety as they're fucking murdering each other out there, and you have no choice but to sit there and deal with it. Yeah. It sucks.
And was it that night or next morning where there were bullet holes from? So
there was like multiple incidents where there were bullet holes. One of them, I came home and the fucking, there's a 22, which I knew there was a 22 rifle in the house. There's a 22 hole in my room in the bookshelf, and then there's a hole through the wall. So I was like, Mom, did you shoot did you guys shoot at each other? And she was like, oh no, I was cleaning his gun, and it went off.
Yeah.
I'm like, motherfucker, you're not cleaning his gun. Like
Since when did you clean guns?
Yeah, you don't clean guns. Like you probably fucking shot at him.
All right, so you end up joining the Army. You want to go to Ranger School. Walk us through that career path.
Yeah, so for some reason I just knew Rangers were high speed. So I was like, fuck it, I want to be a Ranger. So I walked into the recruiter's office. He must have saw me coming, man, because all I said was, hey, how you doing? My name's Sean. I want to be a Ranger. Air Force kicked me out. Marines kicked me out. I got a tattoo on my neck. Can I be a Ranger? And he's like, oh, yeah, dude.
Yeah, I need my quota filled this month. Sit the fuck down.
Yeah, so, you know, I didn't know that there was like different types of Rangers. I thought a Ranger is a Ranger. You know, so he was like, all right, come back tomorrow and I'll run some shit and we'll see if we can get it. And the whole night I was just so nervous that I wasn't going to get Rangers. Like I became hyper focused on the Ranger part. And I think it was a way that I was like, that is going to be my way of proving that I'm like something that, you know, to myself and to other people, because I always had something to prove. So I needed the Ranger part. I needed the title, right? I didn't put 1 second of thought into anything but that title. So when in the next morning, I'm like, I'm nervous. I'm nervous that he's going to tell me no. And he goes, I got you, Ranger. And I was like, fuck yes. I don't care about anything else. And he goes, I got some bad news. He goes, they didn't have any infantry spots available, but they have one for a 92 Golf. And I was like, I don't even care. But I was like, but what is that? He's like, a cook. I was like, you guys that doesn't even make sense to me.
Old Chef Buck.
And then there was a Ranger in the back corner, is a scrolled tabbed Ranger, and he goes, you're going to be a cow killer. And I was like, who the fuck is that guy? He's got, his arm says Ranger. Like, why the fuck am I not talking to him? Why am I talking to you? Because this guy was an 88 Mike. He was a truck driver. I'm like, you got a Ranger over there. Like, send me that fucking guy. And he's like, you're going to be a cow killer. I was like, that doesn't sound cool at all. But I was like, fuck it. You know what? If I was like, if I got to do that to get the title and to prove myself and to get into something difficult, I was like, if you want to change your mind, you just change your mind, right? Like that's how life works. I don't want to do it, so I'll do something else. And I didn't know that the military is like, hell no, you don't just change your mind whenever the fuck you feel like it.
No, this is what you picked.
Yeah.
So come back in 20 years if you don't like it.
Yeah, and that's why I tell guys now, they're like, my recruiter says I should do this to get to my goal of this. I'm like, fuck that.
Yeah.
You sign up for exactly what the fuck you want.
Yeah. All right. So once you get that hashed out, I mean, you still came in under that same guise, right? Of you technically have Ranger lined up, but you're a cook, which means you really don't.
Right.
Right. So
which is what my drill sergeant told me. He's like, he was an infantry guy, and at one point he's like, "You're not a fucking Ranger." And I started to get scared. I was like, is it not in my contract? Did I fuck it up? I thought I had Ranger in my contract. And I'm like going to people like, did the contracts change like when we get here or something? But that's what he was saying. He's like, he ain't a fucking Ranger, bro. Yeah. Then George Floyd happened, and we all came to the office the next day, and they were like, "Did you see what happened?" And we're like, "No." And they pulled up the video of George Floyd. I was like, fuck. We knew instantly that it was going to get bad for us. And that's what started to shift my mindset. I'm like, here I am doing everything that I can to do right. I haven't had one complaint in like 3 years. One complaint. I treat people with respect. I do my absolute damnedest out here every day. And now because this dude did something that was dumb, I'm going to feel the effects on it. My team's going to feel the effects on it. We're going to get treated like shit. I was like, that's not sitting right. I was like, but whatever, it's part of the job, so we'll do it. So we go in the riots, and it's game on. Like they're trying to overrun the police districts. They're throwing Molotov cocktails at us. They're throwing rocks at us. I'm watching cops just drop left and right because they're taking boulders to the ankles. I'm like, one of those hits me in the face, I'm dead. And then the mob, they get so unruly and they feed off each other like animals. So I'm like, if I fall and one of them starts kicking me, I'm going to get stomped out. I'm going to get stomped to death because you'll find yourself surrounded with 3 cops and you're surrounded by an angry mob and rocks are flying in from every which way. And then, cops are getting hit on the RDVs, the rapid deployment vehicles. You just stand on the ledge so we can get there and jump right off and jump back on. And all of a sudden we're getting radio messages that the people are targeting us with their vehicles, and they just hit 2 cops and they're going to the hospital. And then the SWAT team was clearing one of the streets, and the SWAT were the only ones, and this is something that's dumb about the department, is I understand they're trying to mitigate risk, but only certain people are allowed to use like gas. So the SWAT teams are the only ones that could use the gas, and that's the shit that is really what works. You shoot someone with a pepper ball, they're like cough, they wipe it, and then they're right back throwing stuff at you. But the CS at least clears them out, gives you some space. So SWAT's trying to move a crowd back, and all of a sudden I hear screeching, and then boom, a SUV slams into a car to open up an entrance and starts heading for the whole group of SWAT guys who are facing that way. So I turn back and I look at him. I'm like, I'm gonna kill him because he's about to mow down 6 dudes. I can't see their faces, but I'm sure some of them are friends of mine. I was like, it ain't gonna happen. So I pulled my gun out and he's headed right towards me. And I was like, and technically our policy is that if somebody's headed at you in a vehicle, you don't shoot them, you just move. But to me, I was like, I'm not letting those dudes get hit. So I was about to shoot him in the face. And then he looked at me, he looked at my gun, and then skirt back onto the street from the sidewalk, and then took off until the car broke down because it was all torn up and flat tires. But it was that for like 15-hour days, day in and day out. Like we didn't get a day off for 9 days of just, hey, come back, go home, sleep, come back, suit up, and get your ass back down to the riots. Because the marchers will take the day. And as soon as the sun goes down, all the writers come out, and it's game on.